The universe is a vast and wondrous place, filled with both beauty and danger. Just as we marvel at the light of distant stars, we must also acknowledge the potential for earthly threats, such as nuclear accidents and attacks. These events, though rare, can have devastating consequences, releasing harmful radiation into the environment. Understanding these threats is the first step towards protecting ourselves and our loved ones. Nuclear accidents involve the unintended release of radiation from nuclear power plants or other facilities handling radioactive materials. These accidents, while serious, are typically localized events. Nuclear attacks, on the other hand, involve the intentional detonation of nuclear weapons, resulting in widespread destruction and radioactive fallout. The destructive power of nuclear weapons is immense, capable of leveling cities and causing widespread casualties. The ensuing radiation poses a long-term threat, contaminating the environment and potentially causing health problems for years to come. While the possibility of a nuclear event may seem frightening, it is important to remember that knowledge is power. By understanding the risks and taking appropriate precautions, we can greatly increase our chances of survival and recovery. In the vast expanse of the cosmos, we often encounter celestial events that remind us of the importance of preparation. Just as astronomers track asteroids and comets that could potentially threaten Earth, we too must prepare for unforeseen events, including the possibility of a nuclear incident. Preparation is key to survival in any emergency, and nuclear events are no exception. Having a plan in place can reduce fear, minimize risks, and increase your chances of coming through a disaster safely. Start by creating a family emergency plan, including evacuation routes and communication strategies. Identify potential shelter locations in your home, workplace, and community. Look for sturdy structures with thick walls and basements, as these offer the best protection from radiation. Stock up on essential supplies, including food, water, medication, a battery-powered radio, a flashlight, and extra batteries. Consider purchasing a potassium iodide (Ki) supplement. Ki can help protect the thyroid gland from absorbing radioactive iodine, which can be released during a nuclear event. However, consult with your doctor before taking Ki, as it is not suitable for everyone. Imagine witnessing a distant star exploding into a supernova. The sheer magnitude of such an event is almost beyond comprehension, a cosmic spectacle of light and energy. The initial burst of light is followed by a shockwave that travels across vast distances, carrying with it the immense power of the explosion. This shockwave can affect everything in its path, altering the very fabric of space. Similarly, a nuclear detonation would be marked by a blinding flash of light and a powerful shockwave. The intensity of this light can cause temporary blindness, and the shockwave can cause widespread destruction. If you find yourself in the vicinity of a nuclear event, immediate action is crucial. Your response in the first few moments can make a significant difference in your safety and survival. The first moments after a detonation are critical. This is the time when the initial shockwave and radiation burst are at their most intense, posing the greatest risk to anyone in the vicinity. If you're outside, seek immediate shelter. The best protection is to get inside the nearest building, as structures can provide a barrier against the blast and radiation. Get inside the nearest building or lie flat on the ground, covering your head and neck. This position can help protect you from flying debris and reduce exposure to the initial radiation burst. The shockwave from a nuclear blast can cause serious injuries, and the initial radiation burst is most intense in the first few minutes. This radiation can cause severe burns and other injuries, making it crucial to minimize exposure. Once the shockwave has passed, it is crucial to seek shelter indoors as quickly as possible. Being inside a building can significantly reduce your exposure to residual radiation and protect you from further harm. Stay away from windows, as the glass can shatter from the blast. Shattered glass can cause serious injuries, so it is important to find a safe spot away from windows and other potential hazards. If you were outside during the explosion, remove your outer layer of clothing and place it in a sealed bag to reduce contamination. This can help remove radioactive particles that may have settled on your clothing, reducing your exposure to harmful radiation. Tune in to your battery-powered radio for official instructions and information. In the aftermath of a nuclear event, communication networks may be disrupted, making a battery-powered radio a vital source of information. Follow the guidance of local authorities, who will provide updates on the situation and advise you on the safest course of action. Their instructions are based on the latest information and are designed to keep you safe during this critical time. Section 4. Shelter and shielding, finding safety in the aftermath. In this section, we will explore the critical steps you need to take to protect yourself and your loved ones in the wake of a nuclear event. After the initial blast, the most significant danger from a nuclear event comes from radioactive fallout. This fallout can spread over vast areas, carried by the wind, and can remain hazardous for a long time. Fallout consists of radioactive particles that are released into the atmosphere and eventually settle back to the ground. These particles can contaminate everything they land on, including water, soil, and living organisms. These particles emit invisible but harmful radiation. Exposure to this radiation can cause severe health issues, including radiation sickness, cancer, and even death. Seeking shelter and shielding yourself from radiation exposure is crucial in the hours and days following a nuclear event. The sooner you can get to a safe location, the better your chances of minimizing exposure. The best protection from fallout is to stay indoors in a basement or other underground shelter. These locations provide the most effective barriers against radiation. If a basement is not available, choose an interior room or hallway on the lowest level of the building. The goal is to put as many walls and as much dense material between you and the outside as possible. Stay away from windows and exterior walls. These areas are more likely to allow radiation to penetrate and can be dangerous. Reinforce your shelter by sealing doors and windows with duct tape and plastic sheeting. This will help to create a barrier against radioactive particles. This will help to prevent radioactive particles from entering your living space. Ensuring that your shelter is as airtight as possible is crucial for your safety. If you have time before the fallout arrives, consider improvising additional shielding using books, furniture, or bags of soil. These materials can absorb radiation and provide extra protection. Remember, the goal is to put as much distance and as many barriers as possible between yourself and the radioactive fallout. The thicker and denser the materials, the better they will be at blocking radiation. The more shielding you have, the lower your radiation exposure will be. Regularly check radiation levels with a device to ensure your safety and make adjustments to your shelter as needed. Section 5. Radiation Basics. Understanding the invisible threat. Radiation in its various forms is an integral part of the universe. It is a fundamental force that shapes the cosmos, influencing everything from the formation of stars to the behavior of particles at the smallest scales. Stars, including our own sun, emit radiation constantly. This radiation is essential for life on Earth, providing the energy that drives our climate and weather systems and enabling photosynthesis in plants. However, the radiation released during a nuclear event is far more intense and dangerous than the natural background radiation we encounter every day. While natural radiation is usually harmless, the intense bursts from nuclear events can cause immediate and severe health effects. Radiation is energy that travels in the form of waves or particles. This energy can come from a variety of sources, both natural and man-made, and can have a wide range of effects depending on its type and intensity. It can damage living cells and cause a range of health effects, including radiation sickness and an increased risk of cancer. The damage occurs because radiation can ionize atoms, breaking chemical bonds and disrupting cellular processes. The severity of radiation exposure depends on the amount of radiation absorbed, the duration of exposure, and the type of radiation. Alpha particles, beta particles, and gamma rays are the three main types of radiation, each with unique properties and effects. Alpha particles, beta particles, and gamma rays are the three main types of radiation. Understanding these types is crucial for assessing the risks and implementing appropriate safety measures. Alpha particles are relatively large and can be stopped by a sheet of paper or the outer layer of skin. Despite their size, they can be very harmful if ingested or inhaled, as they can cause significant damage to internal tissues. Beta particles are smaller and can penetrate further, but can be blocked by a layer of clothing or aluminum foil. They pose a greater risk of external exposure compared to alpha particles, but are less harmful if they do not penetrate the skin. Gamma rays are the most penetrating type of radiation, requiring thick layers of lead or concrete for effective shielding. These rays can pass through the human body, potentially causing deep tissue damage and increasing the risk of cancer. Understanding the different types of radiation and their penetrating abilities can help you make informed decisions about shielding and protection. By knowing the characteristics of each type, you can better assess the risks and take appropriate measures to protect yourself and others from harmful exposure. In addition to physical shielding, using radiation detectors and following safety protocols are essential steps in minimizing exposure. These tools and practices help monitor radiation levels and ensure that environments remain within safe limits. It's also important to note that radiation has beneficial uses, particularly in medicine. Radiation therapy, for example, is a common treatment for cancer, using controlled doses of radiation to target and destroy cancerous cells while minimizing damage to surrounding healthy tissue. Ongoing research and education are vital in advancing our understanding of radiation and improving safety measures. Scientists and educators work tirelessly to develop new technologies and protocols that enhance our ability to harness the benefits of radiation while mitigating its risks. Community awareness programs also play a crucial role in educating the public about radiation safety. By spreading knowledge and promoting best practices, these programs help ensure that everyone is better prepared to handle radiation-related situations responsibly. In summary, understanding the invisible threat of radiation involves recognizing its various forms, potential health effects, and the importance of proper safety measures. With this knowledge, we can better protect ourselves and make informed decisions in both everyday life and extraordinary circumstances.